Hiya, kids. Do you think your mom would like some nice, fresh corn or cucumbers?
Devil Dog is hysterical. It is what it is. It's very much. I can't. I got to be honest. It's a B horror movie made for TV, and it is just so much fun to watch. To watch now. I get a kick out of it for a lot of reasons, just because of what it is. They wanted to do something, very, I'm sure, horrific and interesting for TV, but you can only go so far in TV. So what are you going to do, right? In those days, I was a working actor. I did commercials and all kinds of TV shows, and so it was just an agent called and said, "We've got this Devil Dog thing." I went, "Well, okay, I'll go in, read for that," and did, and then booked the part. But for me, the memories are mostly associated with getting a chance to work with Kim again, and then she and I being in Disney films together, and this Disney brother and sister duo, and then now we have this film on our resume of us being possessed by this devil dog and doing evil things, this hysterical counterpoint. It's all the stuff that we did in the Witch Mountain films. So
Will you hurry? I swear you're gonna wear out that mirror one of these days. Girls are supposed to spend hours getting ready, not boys.
Well, it was funny because I don't know necessarily that anyone involved with the project realized that Kim and I had worked together in the Witch Mountain films. We sort of looked at each other, and I don't think she knew I was doing it, and I didn't know she was doing it. We simply showed up together, and I don't know if it was the first day of shooting necessarily or what, but it was like, "Oh my gosh, Kim, oh my gosh, Ike," and it was great. It was just old home week. We just got together and just did our thing,
Right.
It was just right back in the groove.
The beast cannot be killed.
There must be a way. I can't let him have my wife, my children.
Richard was great. He is a very, very, very nice man, and a long-time star and actor, been around forever, and a consummate professional. Very easy to work with. I've always said this, even in other interviews, that I've had the luxury and pleasure to work with people who have been around for a really long time.
What if George wakes up?
She was wonderful too. A little bit more distant in a way, and I started to get the sense that maybe she was a little bit more of a method actress regarding this, because the way our characters sort of transition into these, possessed people,
Right.
she kind of had that air about her a little bit anyway. So she was a little bit more distant, not quite as open, but every actor is different,
Right.
and that was just kind of her style. She did her own thing, kind of,
Get out of my room and forget all about this. I mean it.
What's the matter with the two of you?
Hey, I'm sorry, Mom.
It's always interesting working with animals, bottom line, because they're completely unpredictable, as highly trained as sometimes they can be. Well, yeah, in this particular situation, the same thing applies. We had to move very, very quickly in this TV movie. So any take that we could get that worked, we had to grab it and move forward. So you have to work a very different way with animals than you do with people. It's all about them. So you always have to be ready, so that when you get something good, we don't have to redo a take, because of our problems. You have to constantly be on top of it and pay a lot of attention. So it tends to be a little bit more tense, if anything. But I love working with animals, especially trained animals. So it was pretty cool.
Is it okay? I mean, the mother's in there.
Oh, lady, don't mind her. She's a good old girl. She won't hurt nobody.
Whenever I think of working on the film, I do specifically think about the dog trainer. He was a particularly strange man. I don't remember his name, and I don't remember the extent of his experience, but he had a partner he worked with, and he and this guy, had a little bit of a carny nature about them. They were very strange, and his partner didn't talk a whole lot. But I remember him talking about one of the other supporting actors, and I'm afraid I don't remember his name. He played George, the neighbor George, who I was not particularly aware of at the time, but he kept saying, "My partner smells death on this guy." And I thought, okay, that's a really strange statement to make in general, let alone to me. And I didn't know him very well. I don't even know if he was just playing around with me, you know, because of the type of story we were doing. Who knows? But anyway, coincidentally, I believe he passed away the very next year. And I don't know how much longer after that it was, but he did.
What in God's name is this?
It's just a picture.
You were up here at 3 in the morning, painting that picture,
That's right.
walking around, chatting, burning candles.
Just painting.
Why?
Terror Out of the Skies was a killer B movie. Not killer B movie, a killer B movie. I worked with 1.5 million bees. Such an odd round number, but it was. Apparently the beekeeper that we were working with had 1.5 million bees. He had a swarm he carried around. I worked on that project for 5 straight days out in Valencia, the desert outside of Los Angeles, and it was a very nerve-wracking experience. We were all educated on how to be around bees. The beekeeper told us exactly what to do so that we wouldn't get stung. And if we had any fears about, actually when I auditioned for it, I was asked, A, do I have any fears of bees or do I have any allergies? And I don't, and I thought, well, I don't know what there is to be afraid of other than being stung, but I'm certainly willing to give it my best shot because I've worked with every other kind of creature you could imagine, so what's a swarm of bees to me, right? And I never got stung once throughout the entire shoot. However, some people did, only because what we had learned on the set and where we were shooting, there weren't a lot of honeybees out there. And honeybees tend to attract yellow jackets, where yellow jackets come wherever honeybees are because they're attracted to the hive and the honey there. So they're attracted to sweet things. So everyone on the set who was drinking a soda or anything with sugar in it ended up getting nailed by yellow jackets. Then they're very, very, very vicious. So quite a few people had problems with the yellow jackets, but no real major problems with the bees. It was fascinating. Yeah. The Bastard was a lot of fun for me. Unfortunate title, especially, you know, this far away from it if people aren't familiar with it. It was a novel that was adapted as a miniseries. And I had an absolute blast working on that. I had to play a fencing master, and I had to learn how to fence in a very short period of time. I had a 3-hour lesson, and then had to shoot this entire sequence where I was fencing with Andrew Stevens, and it was a lot of fun. So I auditioned for that, like everything else, and was so excited. I mean, I really wanted to do this, and got it. So it was great, you know what I mean. I get to wear the suit and, you know, the whole thing, and got to die. I mean, my gosh, you know, it was awesome. Shatner, in working on that, was very much like Kirk. He was very, you know, he was very strong and, you know, very much that character the whole time. And I kind of thought that was his personality and his persona. But what I ended up doing was working with Shatner on T.J. Hooker, the television series he did. Not long after that. He was a totally different guy. He wasn't that Kirk type. He was, you know, he was very much then T.J. Hooker. So it was really interesting to sort of see even someone like that, you know, kind of morph into their character and let their personality take on, you know, the part that they're playing. I am approached by Star Trek fans frequently. I have to say it's been a great pleasure to be a part of that quote-unquote franchise, or to have anything to do with it and lay claim that I'm a part of it in any way. Star Trek fans are an incredible group of people that I enjoy spending time with, talking to. They always like to ask me about the bloody handprint. So if you're a Star Trek fan out there, and especially a Wrath of Khan fan, you know all about the bloody handprint. That was, unfortunately, a short-lived series. It was only 10 episodes. Again, science fiction. I seem to have a lot of science fiction connections in my career. Lot of people from Star Trek, the original series, worked on Fantastic Journey, from D.C. Fontana, the story editor, to many of the crew members, the cinematographer, the prop people. They kind of put together this mini Star Trek crew because it was a similar type of show. I mean, it was, you know, Star Trek went to different worlds. Fantastic Journey went to different worlds when they kind of got their footing with it. The original concept was we were stuck in the Bermuda Triangle and moved through time zones. And it was supposed to go in the past and the future and the present and all around till we found our own time zone. But I think they just decided fairly quickly after the pilot that it would be more interesting for the audience to have everything sort of set in futuristic settings. So we only went to the future, and it sort of made me laugh. I thought, well, if the series takes off, I'm never going to get home, you know, because I'm always going to be in the future. I'm never going to get back to the present. So, you know, I said, this bodes well for this. But unfortunately, the show got handicapped by a number of things. It was preempted by major events and things like that that handicapped it getting an audience under it. It's now found its own little niche audience now, you know, that it's you know, people are remembering it and seeing it on different cable networks and stuff like that. So.
And he will be consumed in his own fire and called back to his master.
Enjoy Devil Dog.